So what do you think of the TOEFL practice? Easy, right? Or you have any problems? No, no, eh? So let's continue where we left off. And then we're gonna do this listening online. And we're gonna see some practices, but everything's online, right? So it's just to see everything. Okay. And next week will be a mix. I think it's gonna be IELTS. Yeah, mainly IELTS. Okay. All right. So let me. My book. My book. My book. Where's my book? Where is my book? Man. Yeah, cookie is that book. My book is not. Oh, yeah, here. All right, here we go. Oh, this is not my book. This is my other copy book. Just a second. I think it's getting confused. Let me close this window. Okay. And now we can share. Open up your classroom. All right. All right. So we were working right now. There were many sections for the reading, right? And this is test B. Okay, so this is the end of section 3. Everything's here, right? And the writing. Where's the writing? Because this is another test of practice B, listening. But we're gonna do other listenings also. Just a second. Where's the writing of section 1? You need to read how are the writings. Oh, Kukamaya. Answer sheet. Listening tips. Reading. Uh-oh, prepare for TOEFL. I have no idea writing. Script practice, listening comprehension. Pero tengo otro. reading. So there's the instructions and written expressions. But I want you to see a factual writing exercise. Yep, entonces vamos a ir a esta página. And it's really interesting. I really like it. Yeah, and we're gonna just practice the listenings. Then we're gonna see the writing section. Okay, so let me share now. Okay, if you want to check it online, you do it too. It's called graduateshotline.com. TOEFL listening practice test. So it's really nice. You have all of this, the GRE test, the TOEFL. This is more American. Yeah, all these are test exams, IELTS also, and it will help you. Yeah. So just to be curious, you can just find it there. Okay. So I found this one. It says listening section. test one. There's just two tests. See how we suffer. Listen to a lecture in a classroom. Please click on play to start the audio. And here are the sections. The problem that I want to make it más chiquitito. F, ¿qué pongo? Para hacerlo más, I don't know, my screen. ¿Cómo era? I don't remember. Do you remember, anybody? Okay, so this is, first you need to read everything, right? No saben cómo volverlo más angosto.
Miss, good evening, Miss.
Hi.
You have to put the control key with the mouse, with the roll with the mouse.
Ah, yes, I know that, yeah. Pero no quiere. Ahí está, ahí está. Ahí, no, muy chiquito, sorry. Ay, no, muy grande. Ay, a ver, cachito. A ver, vean, chicos. La cosa que vean todo. Un poquito más. Ay, no, eso es ya. No. Un poquito más. Oh, un poquito más. Okay, I think it's enough. Can you read it or not? Ahí sería. So I'll give you, me dicen chicos, Miss, bájelo now. Is it okay or you want a bit more? Un poquito más. Ahí? Is it okay there? Can you read it? All right. So just read it because this is online. So vamos a ver cómo actuarían ustedes online. ¿Ya? Start the audio. Okay, you tell me. Just read it to get the idea. You are really good at listenings. Just to get the idea, okay?
Sí.
Can I move it?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Ahí está. To the end. Okay. All right. So I think it's enough time. You just choose, right? So let's see. Then we're gonna try to do it just once. Okay, like the IELTS. If we need to hear one more time, okay? You tell me. Ready? Breathe, relax, and just enjoy this.
So today I want to go over the main points about what's called the Electoral College. That is the way that presidents are chosen in the United States. Also vice presidents too, of course. Now, some of you may think that the president is the candidate who gets the most votes from the voting public. Often that's true. But the way it works, it's not necessarily the one who gets the most votes from the public. In practice, it's the candidate who wins the most votes from the Electoral College. Okay, so let me try to make this clear. First of all, what is an elector? Well, an elector is a person, a member of a political party, who has been chosen by that party in a given state. Okay, so this person, this elector, is pledged to his or her party's candidate for president. So in any state, there are several electors. The number of electors in a state is equal to the number of U.S. senators plus the number of U.S. representatives in that state. Don't get confused here. The senators and representatives are not the same people as the electors. It's just that the numbers are the same. So, there are always 2 senators in each state, as you know, but the number of representatives depends on the population of the state. So a populous state has several representatives, and a state without a lot of people will have only a few representatives. Some states, such as Alaska, which has a small population, for example, have only 1 representative at the current time. That means that Alaska will have 3 electors chosen by each political party. In total, there are currently 538 electoral votes in the whole country. Okay, so what happens when you vote in the presidential election? Well, what you have when you vote is a ballot, which normally says electors for and...
Sorry? Is it okay, Miss Allison?
¿Podría bajarlo?
¿Cómo que bajar? Oh, I'm sorry. Ya. Voy a retroceder un poquito, ¿ya? Un poquito. Ya. Ahí lo bajo.
So, there are always 2 senators in each state, as you know, but the number of representatives depends on the population of the state. So a populous state has several representatives, and a state without a lot of people will have only a few representatives. Some states, such as Alaska, which has a small population, for example, have only 1 representative at the current time. That means that Alaska will have 3 electors chosen by each political party. In total, there are currently 538 electoral votes in the whole country. Okay, so what happens when you vote in the presidential election? Well, what you have when you vote is a ballot, which normally says electors for, and then the names of each of the presidential candidates running. So you choose electors for the candidate of your choice. Here's the interesting part, in a way. Whichever candidate wins the most popular votes in a state also wins all the electors of that state. So back to the case of Alaska. The candidate who wins the greatest share of the vote from the general public wins 3 electoral votes. Those 3 electors become the electors of that state. Now, okay, there are a couple of exceptions to that, but we'll have a look at those next week. Now, the election for president, where all the voting public cast their votes, is, as you know, in early November. Okay, so the electors of the state, remember, these are the people who were in effect chosen through popular vote and who will vote for the candidate of their party, meet in December, and they cast their votes, one for the president and one for the vice president. Okay, so the candidate with the most electoral college votes, provided it's an absolute majority, that is, over half the total of electoral college votes, is declared president. The same goes for the vice president. If no one gets an absolute majority, then the U.S. House of Representatives chooses the president from among the top candidates. Well, there are also some problems associated with this system that you will hear raised from time to time. One problem, for example, that I can mention right off the bat is that it's possible that the person who is declared president through having won the most electoral college votes may not have won the majority of the general public's votes. This has to do with the fact that the distribution of electoral votes tends to overrepresent people in less populous states. Now, those who favor this system point out, however, that it more accurately represents all parts of the country, not just the metropolitan populous regions. So, in effect, it balances out rural and urban regions and contributes to national cohesion. There are several other things that opponents of this system have put forward, but I'd like you to read up on those before we meet next week.
All right. Ready? Number 1 is the first one that I hear, I'll put it, okay? But you can check it later because we're going to check the scores. What is A?
C.
C. 2,
B.
B. 3,
A.
A.
okay. 4,
D.
D.
And A.
5,
B.
B. 6,
C.
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 number 7,
D.
okay, and 8,
D.
let's see your scores. Ready? Cha-cha-cha-cha. This is live, so I don't even know. 7 of 10. We expect your score to be less than 80. We expect your score to be less than 80. Okay, so
Miss, in some questions we have to answer more than one. I think we can put 1 or 2 answers.
which one?
Is yes, in number 8 and 4 are
Okay.
more than one answer.
Okay, so which one's 2? D and
A.
A.
okay. 8. There was a D and C?
B.
B. Okay, wait. Now can we check or others?
And C, Miss, in the last one.
Like that?
Yes.
Okay. Nah, you did it. Very good. Very nice. Very good. Ese sería todo. That's why I don't like this couple. Because they give you, okay, that's it. Así, poquito. If I show you this website, listening to, Yeah, and they give you a lot of tips. Tips. Yeah. But this is a take it at home. So let's go to this TOEFL IBT like we were doing. Everything to do with the IBT, this listening section. Okay, just a minute. So the structures, they give you how much, but there's no practice. That's why it's like, oh man, frustration. And just be patient. Let's do test 2, okay, of the listening. We did the first one because as you saw in the others, there is a lot of material online. Okay, here we did the same between a student and a university advisor. Please right click on gray area below and click on play to start the audio. 8 same questions. Read it. Tell me when to go further. Okay, let's read it. It's windy. I'm just moving a bit by bit, okay? All right, can we listen? You ready? If you see this, the topics are really easy, but don't believe it's, oh, it's gonna be easy. No, no, tranquilo, nomás. There's a lot to, there's infinitive listening practice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, listen.
Listen to a conversation between a student and a university advisor. The student is trying to decide where to go to school next year.
Now then, Mr. Vikstad, how can I help you?
Well, I'm thinking about transferring, but I'm not sure. I was hoping you could help me make a decision.
I'll try. Where are you thinking of transferring to, and why do you want to leave Cryptus U?
I'm thinking of going to Central University because it's in my hometown. I've been kind of homesick this year, and I haven't made many friends. I just feel so lonely. So I thought that maybe it'd be better to be closer to my parents and friends and all.
I see. And would you keep the same major if you transferred? What is it, business administration?
Yeah, I would. The credits I've earned here will transfer to Central. I've already checked.
May I ask why you chose to come to Cryptus University in the first place?
Sure. Well, the main reason is you have a great business school, and the second reason is that I wanted to get away from home.
You're right, Mr. Vikstad. We do have an excellent business school, but so does Central. The thing is, you've got almost a year under your belt here now. At Central, you'll be starting from scratch.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm a little bit familiar with Central because I had older friends who went there, and I visited it before I came here.
You know, freshman year is usually the hardest. I remember how homesick I was my first year. I'll tell you, I was ready to pack it in after the first 2 weeks. But the longer I stayed, the more comfortable I felt. By senior year, I was glad I chose to stay.
Really? Did it get a lot better your sophomore year?
Yes, it did. You might well find the same is true for you. Also, even though your credits here will transfer, you will have to take extra courses because Central has different requirements. You'll probably have to go to school for an extra year.
I hadn't thought about that. I'll have to check into it. Maybe I should give it one more year. I mean, it's probably good for me to learn to live away from my family and friends, right? It'll make me stronger in the future.
You can always move back there after you graduate. Of course, by that time, you may not want to.
Thank you for all your help. I guess I'll find out the exact transfer requirements. You've given me a lot to think about.
Don't mention it. If you feel like you want to talk more, don't hesitate to come back and see me.
Ready? Okay. Number 1.
B
B
and C.
and B and C. Okay. 2.
A.
Number 3. 2 answers.
C and D.
C and B or D?
D.
I
D,
hear
D, D.
D, D, D. Okay. 4. Number 4. Anybody? Number 4.
A.
Okay. 5.
D.
D. Okay. Number 6.
D.
D. Number 7.
A.
A. And number 8.
B.
B. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. Let's see your score. Oh, very good, everybody. And complete profile. Okay, so if I show you the TOEFL practices of the number 5, this is what you'll see. reading section, right? Has just been taken out. The questions, multiple A, B, and C, like that. It's not a manual, right? What I want you to see is the writing, but I only have this IBT, and they just give you tips, right? That's why it's off, or why writing a test, structure, general description, writing tips, but there's not an actual practice. Mainly tips. Okay, so when you see this type of sites, there will be few, real few. They're not extreme like we are used to, because test is another thing. Okay, so you're getting practice, a lot of practice. Maybe the pronunciation or ideas or what they focus on will be a bit different, but I think we can adjust. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so we have 7 minutes um, here from our guide, listening comprehension. Here, the structures, the readings. They don't have right now. It's just tips here. Now we have watching movies and television. Yeah. Material, for example, tantos. So I'm gonna check this with you. But I think it's gonna only give me PDFs of the listening. Be curious, please, when you have time. That's why the materials are there. But see, like this. Yeah, this is just links for you to hear, to practice more, but it's not an actual test. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. So please read the small lines. Yeah. Comprehension. That's why it's very important to listening. Okay. So any observations, questions? What do you think was not the hardest, but it was interesting to practice from all of this section? Hmm? Anybody would? I would like to hear your view towards this, or you don't care. Your silence means many things. Saying it's easy, or yeah, think I'll do the test or not. So this is mainly the practice. Okay. Now, with that in mind, I want to show you another. We have 5 minutes. Well, this is a short video of how TOEFL is taken. Yeah, but in the speaking. Yeah, so let me show you. Well, se va a cortar, pero yeah. Okay. Yeah, this speaking section that I found, it's quite long. It's 15 minutes, and it could help you just to get the idea of what to expect. Okay, this is a new version because the rest are 15 to 22 minutes. So we just hear the introduction. There are many, but I like this one. Okay, because it was from this year, they tried to, ¿qué se llama? To present for students. All right. Oh, sorry. Always the advertising.
Documentos y mucho más sin retrasos. Mientras escribes en tu computadora o teléfono.
Hello again and welcome back to the channel. This is Michael from TOEFLresources.com, and today I'm very happy to present my 2021 guide to the first TOEFL speaking question. In today's video, I'll start by talking about modern question styles, like basically what this question actually looks like. I'll continue by giving you 2 templates you can use to answer this question. I'll provide a few sample answers, and I'll wrap up the video by talking about how your answers are actually scored by ETS. Now, as far as question styles go, it's pretty much the same as the last couple years. I did a survey of about 500 students a month ago, and this is what they told me. 50% of them said they got an agree-disagree style question. 30% said they got preference style questions, and the last 20% said they got what we call a good idea style question. Now, in just a moment, I'll give you samples of all of these question types. This means, of course, that the following types are still dead. They're not showing up on the test. Those are the 3 choices style, the giving advice style, and the advantages, disadvantages style. Now, this is not set in stone. Nothing with the TOEFL is set in stone, so these could appear at any time, but they haven't really shown up for the last few years. If you do want to learn about them, just look for my speaking videos from about 2017 or 2018. First up is the agree-disagree style, the most common style. This one's pretty straightforward. You're given a single sentence and you're asked whether or not you agree or disagree with it. So in this one, it says, teachers should assign daily homework to students. Do you agree or disagree with that? The next one, children should help their parents with household chores as soon as they are old enough. Do you agree or disagree? That's all you got to do. Now, the preference style is also very common. In this one, you're asked whether or not you prefer X or Y. So for instance, do you prefer to study for tests in a group or to study alone? The next sample, it's a little bit longer, but it's the same kind of thing. Some people like to watch television news programs every day, while others like to watch them only now and then. Which do you prefer and why? And of course, in all of the styles, you're going to get something at the end like include details and examples to support your explanation. Finally, the good idea style. This is a little trickier and it's a little bit longer, but don't worry about it. You answer it in the same way. Basically, you're given a situation or an idea, and you're asked whether you think it's a good idea. So in this first sample, it says, some companies have rules that forbid employees from using personal cell phones during working hours. Do you think this is a good idea? Why or why not? And the next one is about changing your appearance using radical methods. Do you think that's a good idea or not? Support